I was living the perfect life until my husband betrayed me with my own stepmother. For 30-year-old Emma Carter, life was almost picture perfect. She had a loving husband, James, a rewarding career as a marketing manager, and a beautiful home they had worked hard to create together. Her parents had divorced when she was young, and though her family dynamics were complicated, she cherished the life she had built. Her relationship with James had begun in their junior year of college, where they met in a marketing class. It was love that blossomed naturally over shared goals and dreams. James's mother, Rachel, however, had never approved of Emma. Despite Emma's constant efforts to win Rachel over by organizing family events and buying thoughtful gifts, nothing seemed to work. Rachel often made veiled comments about Emma not being sophisticated enough for James. Though James reassured Emma to ignore these remarks, they left an indelible mark on her heart. Emma's family situation added another layer of complexity. Her father had remarried when she was 15, bringing Millie, her competitive 12-year-old stepsister, into her life. Emma had tried to be kind and patient with Millie, but her stepsister's constant attempts to outshine her had left them with a polite but distant relationship. All of that changed on a rainy November evening. Driving home from work, Emma's car was struck by a truck whose driver had lost control. The last thing she remembered was the blinding headlights before everything went black. When she awoke 3 days later, she was paralyzed from the waist down. The doctors explained her spinal injuries were severe, and the chances of walking again were slim. James initially seemed supportive, comforting her in the hospital and making plans to adapt their home for her wheelchair. But soon, Emma began to notice subtle changes in his behavior and in the growing presence of Rachel and Millie. Rachel visited daily under the guise of helping James care for Emma. A month after Emma's accident, Rachel started bringing Millie along, claiming she had medical experience as a receptionist. Emma, too focused on recovery, tried to ignore the unease she felt. The comments Rachel made, however, became impossible to ignore. She would pity James openly, lamenting how difficult it was for someone so young to care for a disabled wife. Nobody would blame you if it became too much, Rachel would say, her tone dripping with false sympathy. Emma's trust in her husband began to waver as he started working late and avoiding meals with her. The day Emma's suspicions were confirmed felt like a nightmare. She overheard Rachel telling James that Millie could give him a normal life, complete with children. Worse, James agreed. When Emma confronted him, he admitted he had been seeing Millie for a month and wanted a divorce. His reasoning? He didn't want to spend his life taking care of someone in her condition. Emma's father and stepmother shocked her further by defending Millie. Her stepmother dismissed the betrayal as unavoidable, claiming Millie had simply followed her heart. Emma was left to grapple with a devastating reality. The people she trusted most had turned against her. With the help of her best friend, Lisa, Emma moved out of the house she had shared with James. As she began piecing together the events leading to her husband's affair, more shocking truths emerged. A mutual friend revealed that James and Millie had been meeting in secret for nearly a year before Emma's accident. Rachel had orchestrated their interactions, introducing Millie to her social circle as James's future wife. Emma hired a private investigator to uncover the full extent of their betrayal. The evidence was damning. Photos of secret rendezvous, receipts from romantic dinners, and text messages joking about Rachel's manipulations. While Emma had been working overtime to save for their dream home, James and Millie had been building their own future together. Emma's father invited her to a family gathering, urging her to handle things like an adult. Reluctantly, she agreed, hoping for closure. Instead, she found a staged display of unity between Rachel, James, and Millie. The sight of Millie wearing a bracelet gifted to Emma on her wedding day sent Emma into a rage. She confronted them, laying bare their hypocrisy and betrayal. The only person who defended her was her younger brother, Mike. Outraged at the family's treatment of Emma, he vowed to cut ties with them. He supported Emma as she began preparing for a divorce that would sever her last ties to James and his toxic family. Despite the emotional toll, Emma's resolve strengthened. The divorce proceedings, bolstered by the investigators' findings, resulted in a favorable settlement. Emma kept their vacation home, much to Rachel's displeasure. More importantly, she moved to a new city, found a wheelchair-accessible apartment, and started fresh. With support from Lisa and Mike, Emma began rebuilding her life. Our employer's flexibility allowed her to thrive professionally, even earning her a promotion. She also joined a support group for spinal injury survivors, where she found solace and camaraderie. James and Millie's wedding was the final chapter of their betrayal. Photos of the event flooded social media, with Rachel boasting about their perfect love story. Emma refused to let their lies define her. Instead, she focused on the family she chose, Lisa, Mike, and her support group. When James attempted to reconnect, Emma had her lawyer issue a cease and desist letter. She had no room in her life for his guilt or excuses. Her energy was devoted to her recovery and her future. Emma's journey was far from easy, but it taught her the power of resilience. She learned to value genuine connections over blood ties, finding strength in chosen family and her own determination. Though the scars of betrayal remained, they became reminders of her ability to overcome. For Emma, the path forward was clear. Her world had been turned upside down, but she had emerged stronger. As she looked out over the mountains from her new home, she knew she had reclaimed her life and her happiness on her own terms.